Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to the Tailgate Sports Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tanner Johnson, and with me, as always, is Ricky Scott. What's up, Ricky?
What's up, Tanner? How you been?
Long couple days, man. Long couple days, but we're recording. We're doing wide receivers, not wide receivers. Just kidding. We're
Getting ahead
doing
of
my
yourself.
favorites. We got to do the interior defensive linemen. We got to do the big boys.
Your mind's running a million miles per hour.
Oh yeah, it's always. It's the perks of having ADHD, man.
See,
A
everyone.
thousand different things a second, never
It's not.
completing one of them.
It's not a downfall, people. It's a perk.
The downfall is you never complete anything. You just think about everything. All right. A little housekeeping. We are a small two-man business. Please show your support by rating, commenting, subscribing, and sharing the podcast with all your friends and family. We work really hard to put these things out, and we're putting a lot of effort into every single one of these. And we do have our socials up. Ricky's been working real hard with that. Please follow us on TikTok at Tailgate Sports Podcast and Insta at Tailgate Sports Podcast 24. Check out our Patreon page. We're going to be dropping exclusive content weekly on there, including my rankings, my big board, various things like that. Like I said, we're doing our top 10 interior defensive linemen. I want to go first. Screw
You're
you.
definitely going first. This is your baby.
This is bread and butter. This is team building 101. Trenches,
Mm-hmm.
interior defensive linemen.
The
Okay?
hardest workers.
Yes, sir. All right, I got three honorable mentions.
Ooh.
Okay. So my first one is Javon Hargrave, 49ers. Okay? He's played 3 games this year. He's been out with injury since then. I mean, he's been with 3 different teams. He's been an All-Pro with 2 of them, and very well should have been last year with the 49ers. He was with Pittsburgh. He was drafted by Pittsburgh in 2016. He was with them for 4 years, signed with Philly for 3 years, was on that Super Bowl run for Philly. But he's kind of a pass rushing specialist, as like a shade nose. Occasionally goes out to a 3 tech, but he's a big guy. He's 6'2", 305 pounds. He's just that pass rushing interior defensive line. You love to have him, causes havoc, but can sometimes be a hindrance in the run game. And that's kind of been his hallmark through his entire career. He was pretty good in Pittsburgh, but that's also including Cam Hayward next to him. That's including a bunch of other factors. But with Philly, he was atrociously bad at run defense. But as a pass rusher, he's been fantastic. Let's see. In Philly, his last 2 years in Philly, 2021, 2022, he had 10 sacks and 12 sacks as an interior player.
It's really good.
It's pretty hard to get up to double digits.
Yeah, you see a lot of these guys in this year. I don't think maybe we have one that cracked double digits, if that.
Yeah. We had Kobe Turner last year, cracked double digits. But, I mean, that was
I
as
think
a
the
rookie.
closest we have is Sexy Dexy.
Chris Jones hits double-digit sacks every year.
I'm talking about as of right now.
As of right now, it would be. I can look this up. You want to talk about Javon Hargrave or anything?
No, this is your this is your honorable mention, sir. I mean, I
Let
can give
me.
you my honorable mention.
Yeah, give me an honorable mention.
So we have the naturally funny, hard-hitting baller out of Clemson. He was selected by the Miami Dolphins
Christian
2019
Wilkins.
draft. Christian Wilkins.
I was getting so confused. I'm like,
I
who
mean,
the hell is he talking about?
this is the same guy that will smack you in the face, but do it with a smile.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude's out with injury. You know, what, 4 games into the season, something like that. Had 2 sacks, 11 solos. I mean, somebody that's going to battle for you that complements other players like Max Crosby, Divine Diablo, a couple other players that the Raiders have that we could have used this year. But I think Christian Wilkins is my honorable mention. I think he'd be higher up on the list if he was healthy.
Yeah, maybe.
Doesn't swing that way all the time.
He is definitely not in my top 10.
I mean, I would hope not.
So yes, Dexter Lawrence is the only interior guy with double-digit sacks this year,
You're welcome.
with a solid 10. You were right. Tip my hat to you, sir. I should have known this.
I mean, he's a sexy man. He's over there destroying people.
You know. All right. My next honorable mention is a
Oh,
player who has yet to play this year,
oh, nice.
Christian Barmore with the New England Patriots. Okay, stud. Built their whole defensive scheme has been built around his presence in the middle. He ascended to almost elite status last season. Okay, he finished last year with 8 total sacks, 89 total pressures. Like that's pretty good. Pretty
No,
good.
I
He
agree.
had he had 5 batted balls last year alone. Okay, and he's 6'5", 315 pounds. Just a stud, just the anchor of that New England defense. He unfortunately did have a blood clot in his lung during training camp, so he hasn't really played at all this season. He did get cleared for this past game and did play a total of 21 snaps against the Los Angeles. He was really just kind of on a snap count, which 100% props to them. You got to take care of him. I mean, they just paid him this offseason. I'm really looking forward to seeing him going forward. But he has definitely been a personal favorite of mine. He's definitely ascended. He was in the class with Keenan Williams, Jeffrey Simmons, Dexter Lawrence, like all these guys.
Hmm.
Okay. All these guys in this leads me to my next guy. Sorry,
You're
I
skipping
misspoke.
me. My other honorable mention,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Jonathan Allen, Washington Commander,
Washed up.
has 14 solos this year. He's tied, 51st. Nothing amazing, but 2 sacks. Like you keep on reiterating to our guys, our people, you know, it's hard to get them sacks in the trenches like these guys doing. They're not rushing off the edge
Yeah.
like some of the elite people that we already have mentioned in our past podcasts. But
Well, yeah, that's why I think Chris Jones's numbers are so inflated. Because on third downs, he's an edge rusher.
I mean, he's a terror though. You gotta admit,
I accept that.
and
But
he's running. He's going through double teams most every game.
yeah, so is Aaron Donald. Except Aaron Donald wasn't an edge rusher ever.
I mean, he's retired, but he was tired. They made him tired,
Aaron Donald, top 3 defensive player all time.
and he retired young.
Hmm. Only he's up there. And he
You're gonna have to tell me this is your bread and butter, my friend.
is Reggie White.
Oh,
Reggie White, top 3 all time. Leonard Taylor, number 1. Aaron Donald, I'd probably say number 2. He didn't have as long of a career as the other two, but Leonard Taylor was literally unblockable. Aaron Donald, number 2, was unblockable, even with double teams. They had in order to get really anything. I mean, he won that Super Bowl for the.
I mean, he was constantly pointing at his ring finger, so it was meant to be.
Okay, you had Jonathan Allen as an honorable mention. My last honorable mention is Tennessee Titans great.
Oh, he didn't make your top 10?
No,
That's surprising.
he was in my top 10, and I had to bump him
That's not
just
very
because
nice.
he's been battling injuries for the past 2 years. Okay, and this year he has a missed tackle problem, man. Like specifically in 3 games this season against Detroit, New England, and this past week against Minnesota. Like, he's missing pretty consistently. 2 tackles against Detroit, 2 against New England, 1 this past week. But he only had 3 total tackles this week, so it just screws him over. He does have quite a few defensive stops on the season, so I do like that from him. But again, he's kind of in the mold of Javon Hargrave as a pass rushing 3 tech. But he's kind of been unlocked more this year to be able to just pin his ears back with Tavondre Sweat next to him as the anchor nose for that defensive line. And he he's provides consistency. I think that's really just it. He is through his team through week on week. Okay, he has 2 weeks below a 65 PFF defensive grade. Okay, this past week he had a damn near elite defensive grade with an 88.7, an elite pass rushing grade of a 92.6. And the
Ooh.
only reason it was an 88.7 is because he had a tackling grade of 29. He got
What was
dragged down
what was his
significantly.
overall?
88.7,
It's really good.
damn near elite. So
Damn near,
he,
but not
like,
there.
ever since his rookie year, he has not posted a season defensive grade lower than 67.2. And every single season, he has ascended. So he's one of those. He's like right there, right on the edge. I wanted to put him in my top 10. I just couldn't. There's just a couple guys up here that I'm more impressed with this year than anything, and there's one.
It better be
There's
Jalen
two.
Carter.
There's two young guys on my top 10. So you want to start off your 10?
I'll
What's your
start
number
off
10?
my 10 with a USC great. Can you guess it? You better have multiple USC in your top 10.
Yeah, no.
So I'm going to start off top 10 with Leonard Williams.
Big Cat.
3 sacks, 16 solos, 6 assists with a PFF graded. This is his 24 overall, is what, 74.5? I don't know. Am I right on that? I know you're the PFF guy. I mean, anchor to that Seattle defense. I mean, are we talking about that D line if it's not for him and a couple other people? But keeps him in games. Big body does work, but that's my top 10. I mean, that's my number 10. It's not
Yeah,
my. I mean, I could make him my full list if you want.
Leonard Williams every pick.
He's big enough.
Yeah, I mean he got his contract from Seattle. He's Mr. Consistent, I'd say. Like I liked him in combination with Dexter Lawrence in New York. I understood them moving on from him because he is a bit older. He's one of those older guys, but he hasn't really fallen off at all in his career. Like
I mean,
he
sometimes you just need someone to believe in you.
like here's his defensive grades through his entire career. Okay. He has never had a defensive grade below. Okay. He's never had a run defense grade lower than 66.3 on a season, and he has never had a pass rushing grade low. He's been going for 9 years.
Would you
This is his
consider
ninth
him
season.
elite?
I don't know about elite. I'd say Mr. Consistent. He's a consistently good. He is someone that I would definitely love to have on my team because you just know week on week out.
Oh, I mean, he would do justice with them Tennessee Titans. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm good. I got Devondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons.
I mean, the more weapons, the better. Everybody needs a break every now and then.
It's true. I mean, Mr. Devondre pushing 400 pounds. He's already he's already he's already hit more snaps than he ever did at Texas.
I mean, that's saying some. I mean,
So
hats off to his work ethic for sure.
he's definitely working hard. So all right, my number 10. I'm assuming he's in your top 10. 6'7". Yeah.
Oh, he didn't make the list.
Ooh, I thought he was gonna make your list.
He was
Okay.
there. I deleted him. I do like him.
I do too. It pains me to see him twice. But he's the same thing. He's the same thing as Leonard Williams, only better.
I mean, do you
Mr.
like him?
Consistent.
Do you like him better as a Colt or as a 49er? Because he
I would
played for them.
probably, yeah, I'd probably have to say a 49er just because he had additional help as a 49er. I mean, 2018, 13 sacks, 2019, 11 sacks, 2020, 10 sacks. And 2020 was with the Colts, his first season.
I
Since
mean,
then, it's been 9, 9, 9.
for the life of me, I don't understand why they let him walk or traded him or whatever I mean,
Ah,
no sense. This was a guy they drafted and they were high on.
Yeah, it's definitely a mistake that they've been trying to fix ever since. I mean, Javon Hargrave does a decent job of that, but Javon Hargrave's older than DeForest Buckner is, so it's just kind of like, why would you?
I mean, I like your pick.
Yeah, he's got 4 sacks on the year, 11. Like I said, he's Leonard Williams, just slightly better for me. He never has a pass. He never has a defensive grade below 71.6. Never has a pass rushing grade lower than 64.9, and that was also since then. It's been mid to high 70s and hitting into the elite 80s and 90s occasionally on a whole season. Kind of been back and forth. He was hurt from he got hurt against Green Bay, but he's kind of been on a tear past couple of weeks against Buffalo definitely, and this last week against the Jets. Who
I
is
like it.
your
I'm gonna go with Mississippi State University, your very own Tennessee Titan. Can you guess?
Mississippi?
Yes, sir. I mean, guy has 25 solos, 6 assists, 3 sacks, and he's tied for second in forced fumble with 1. PFF grade of 77.6. I mean, if we're going to talk about a bright spot of the Tennessee Titans, it's your guys' defense. It's definitely not Mister, mayonnaise.
Oh, yeah.
But we've chatted about it. Your guys' defense. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's not
Went
just
through
him. Multiple
quite a bit.
players.
He is not
That's crazy. I mean,
among interior defensive linemen. He is currently ranked seventh in overall pass rushing grade, behind the standouts Chris Jones, Cam Hayward, and
oh,
in overall grade he is
I mean, are these guys getting the credit they deserve for you know battling in the trenches every snap?
no. That's why you don't see defensive tackles win defensive player of the year or defensive rookie of the year, which I got some
Well,
beef with.
the edge
We'll get
rushers
into that
always
later.
get the love.
We'll get into that later. Give me a couple of spots.
Let's go. Shall we jump into your ninth spot?
My ninth spot is Mr. Calais Campbell, the ageless
I love the
Calais
pick.
Campbell. Big old Calais. Okay. He cares so much about getting a ring. Cares so much about getting into the Hall of Fame. It's stupid how much he cares about this stuff. Has never had a bad year with any team. And he's just ageless. With Miami, he's posting an 82.7 defensive grade this year, a 78.1 run defense, and a 73 point pass rushing grade for the Miami Dolphins. He has 4 sacks on the year.
I feel like he's done this for every team he's played for. Why he's the Ravens, the Cardinals.
8 seasons with the Cardinals, 3 with the Jaguars. The elite defense.
Yeah, I forgot about that defense.
Oh my gosh. Jalen Ramsey on his rookie contract.
And that's when he was really barking.
3 with Jacksonville, 3 with Baltimore, 1.
He's a baller.
I had to put him on here just to. I mean, dude has done whatever he could to win. Uh, he has 100,
Jesus.
and typically to get into the Hall of Fame, the cutoff is usually about 100 sacks,
I mean,
especially for an interior guy.
he's gonna get in there.
Yeah, the dude, he's 38 years old. Okay, there's only one other guy on my list that's even close to 38 years old. He is the fourth ranked interior defensive player behind Cam Hayward, Dexter Lawrence, and Chris Jones. Fourth.
Talk about giving your heart to the game.
I had to give it to him. I couldn't. This was the guy that knocked off Jeffrey Simmons.
I'm sorry, I had to put your guy in there.
Yeah, man. You just
You
had to
didn't.
screw me over.
You didn't represent, and I'm representing for you.
Who's your
That's okay.
number 8?
Do you really want to know?
Yes, sir, I do.
He's a bulldog, and he's young. I mean, I hope he made your list.
We'll get
People
to him.
people slept on him in the draft. Jalen Carter, tons of
Yes,
potential.
sir.
I mean, he's a little emotional, but dude's a baller. He has 18 solos, 4 assists, 4 sacks, PFF grade of 79.2. Can you imagine if he? So he's. I'm gonna say he's. I'm not gonna. He's naturally, a beast.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
if
he
he
won that national championship game.
if he put that extra, you know, just a little extra, little bit into his game, his craft, like he's definitely going in a lot of people's top 10.
Oh yeah,
Not just us.
oh yeah, 100%. I mean, he was the number one overall prospect in his draft class. Then uh, Will Anderson, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. It
He dropped
was a
because of
pretty.
what? Attitude problems.
He he dropped because he was had a warrant out for his arrest,
I mean,
and
not if you want to, catch me up, catch the listeners up. I'm sure they love a good story time.
so right after the national championship, when Georgia won, a football player, I think it was Warren McClendon, and a staffer for the team. There was 4 people in the car. They were drunk driving, and they were racing. They were racing Jalen Carter, and this car of 4 people crashed, and 2 students, a staffer and a player, died. And so a warrant came out at the arrest, and so he left the combine, went, posted his bail or whatever, got out, and then flew back to the combine and was answering questions about it. Didn't do a press conference or anything after, but that is the reason he wasn't selected in the top 5. He would have been arguably the first defensive player taken. That's why he slid, because there's a lot of maturity concerns when you were racing against friends that were drunk, and it caused some deaths, and it seemed like it didn't really bother him. So he fell to overall, 9th overall. Yeah, the Eagles traded up 1 spot to get him, which was just stupid that he goes to the Eagles. I mean, just stupid.
The
But
rich get
yeah,
richer.
yeah. So that's his story. That's why he fell in the draft. But no one.
Yeah, I think that maturity issue thing is still plays a little bit of a factor too. You see a little bit of his antics on the sidelines and getting a little crazy, but dude's a baller. That'll get you paid.
Mhm. So my number 8 is a young guy.
Ooh,
Same.
who is it?
It is Mr. Kobe Turner.
You have him at 8? Come on, man. It's a little disrespectful. I have him higher, way higher than that.
What?
I have him higher than Chris Jones. I mean, let's get this a little strained out. This is my list for this year. I know I
Okay.
completely understand your overall active
Okay.
list. I love
Okay.
your picks. Trust me.
Yeah. I understand for this year, Chris Jones having a down year. Okay. But let's talk about Mr. Motherfucking Kobe Turner. Okay.
Let's do it.
Should have fucking won Defensive Rookie of the Year. But no. Edge rushers have to win it every year. So Will Anderson gets it with half the sacks, half the pressures, and just half the impact. He was even hurt on part of last year. Kobe Turner played in every damn game. He had 12 sacks, 31 total pressures, 2 batted balls, 32 total solo tackles, 13 assists. And guess what? Nothing. He is the conductor. That's his nickname. He is Now the spearhead, well, I guess he's not the spearhead anymore. Jared Verse has taken over that, but he is part of the rebuild.
Yeah, I
In that,
remember.
I mean, he played alongside Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald had nothing but praise for him. He's posted three, okay, and it's
What's
against, huh?
what's his overall in PFF?
His overall is a 73 point. So it's
Ooh.
not as good as it was last year. As a rookie, it was an 83.2. As a rookie, okay. Love Kobe Turner. There's not enough you can say about him. He is so good.
I
And it
like
was
him. I mean, does Sean McVay miss?
they've proven that they still pick quite a bit, just not early in drafts.
I mean, Williams, Puka, and that Kobe Turner, late round. Are they late round picks?
Yep.
All of
Even
them
this year,
starters.
Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, both those guys are. So I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Do you really want to know? You're not gonna like it because I know you have them way lower. So remember, hear me out. This is my 2024 list. I like the fact that you're, you know, have an active overall list. Down year, I have Chris Jones at 7.
Damn.
I mean, his PFF grade is 89.5.
Damn.
No disrespect to him, but getting older, people figuring him out. I think it's time for the Chiefs to really lean into him, but also try to find some youth at that position.
I mean, they just paid him, man.
I
He
mean,
sat out until he got his contract. He just got a contract.
dude's 30 already. How many
Yeah.
seasons in the league? Has wear tear in his body. I'm not saying he's going anywhere anytime soon. He's on an amazing team that he will thrive with. As you can see, Father Time is caught up. He catches up with everybody. Yeah, he found some kind of shit. He found that Tom Brady juice. 3 sacks. I mean, his tackles are down. He 15 solos, 5 assists, 4 sacks. Actually, 4 sacks. I said 3. I'm sorry. I
I
mean,
mean,
he's doing it.
he is a game wrecker. He's kind of like got that Aaron Donald effect. No, not the Aaron Donald effect. The TJ Watt effect,
Oh, I
where
like that.
it's not like that down by down. I'm wrecking you every single play like Miles Garrett. There's most. Chris Jones makes a play,
I agree.
and it's that game altering play. The thing that was Aaron Donald, except Aaron Donald's more consistent. Like, that's what Chris Jones is becoming, and I hope that he continues to do that, obviously, for the rest of his career. But the down by down consistency does definitely have to push him lower. Single season list.
Yeah. I mean, I like doing a current list. I mean, we can definitely do overall lists
Yeah,
of active players,
yeah. I mean,
which you did.
my list. I always do these because my thought process is I want to go like immediately right now. Who I am taking these players like 1 through 10. Like that's who I'm going for. That's who I'm targeting. This is who I'm going for. And it doesn't matter if they're old, young. It's just the imp is what I'm looking for.
Ooh,
Was that your number 7?
I guess we're looking for your lucky number 7.
My number.
Oh, really? You have him at 7? Disrespect.
Mm-hmm. Again, it is a down year for Keenan. He does have, ironically, his per PFF, he has 7 sacks on the season. So he is productive. Okay. But those sacks, he has one against New England, which he should have got more in that game. He has one against Buffalo, respect. He has two against New England again, meaning he should have continued to get more. He has two against Houston, makes sense. And one against Indy, that's a good one. His best
Yeah.
game of the year was this past week against Indy. And he had 4 total pressures, 6 solo tackles this past week.
think it's deeper than that. Well, they also fired their defensive-minded head coach. That defense, they love that guy. I think that's taking more of a toll, or having a lot more, effect than what people are actually thinking. I mean, look at Sauce Gardner's down, and he's a dog. That defense just looks completely different since the firing of their coach.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame, man. I mean, he's cornerstone. You're gonna work around him, but that situation is hard to overcome by yourself. I mean, he has his brother playing linebacker for him. He's playing at an all-pro level together. But
I mean, dude sneezed and blessed himself. So, are we moving down to 6, brother?
yes, sir.
Well, let's do it. I don't know if you're gonna like my number 6
I don't know if
because
you're
my
gonna like mine.
list. So I have Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Vita Vea at 6.
Oh, I'm one off.
I like that. So 19 solos, 8 assists, 5 sacks. 2024 PFF grade 72.3. I mean, when you mention, since the big Super Bowl run, you mentioned Vita Vea.
Yeah, I love Vita Vea. He is the example of a hard point of attack nose tackle.
I mean, not to
And
jump a little bit ahead of you, but didn't he miss a few games this season?
he did miss a few games. Actually, he was just out week.
I mean, 1 week is a lot.
It is a lot. This year is kind of a down year for Vita Vea by his standards. But normally he is that I am setting this line. You are not moving me. He does not get displaced. He displaces people.
Yes.
Like that is Vita Vea. He is the absolute game wrecker for anyone. Like you have to scheme around where Vita Vea is on the Buccaneers defense. I know the Bucs this year, but you have to scheme around him. You can't just run right through him. You can't just not care. You gotta.
I'm glad he's at your 5, so but the world wants to know who's at your 6.
It's DJ Reader.
Oh.
DJ Reader, he's 30 years old, 6'3", 335 pounds. Same thing. He's just Vita Vea. I think Vita Vea has done it more consistently over a longer period of time. Or not quite as long as DJ Reader, but he has made more of an impact in the pass rushing game for me. Reader's been always the run defense guy, with the past couple years being a high guy as a nose tackle. But I think just DJ Reader was underappreciated. Houston definitely was underappreciated with Cincinnati. I couldn't believe that Cincinnati let him go, and it shows. They let him go, and their whole defense is falling apart. Their defense is. I heard this stat this week from the PFF NFL podcast. Dalton Wasserman said that the Cincinnati Bengals, I believe it was Dalton Wasserman, it might have been Trevor Sycamore, but they said that the Cincinnati Bengals defense, the top 10 defense in every metric against bottom 5, like the worst teams in each division that they've played. So the fourth ranked teams in divisions, teams that they have played that are ranked full divisions, they are a top 10 to top 5 defense. Playing any single other team that is not a fourth ranked, they are a dead last in the league. Yards, overall grade, almost every metric. And one of the big reasons is losing DJ Reader. He provided that interior push to give Trey Hendrickson free access to the edge. He provided that hard setting displacement in the run game. He provided the ace in the hole for that defense to run whatever they wanted. And I was sure it's showing that Lou Anarumo can't just make.
Yeah, I love the pick. Definitely love the pick. I mean, we got a hard-nosed veteran. Tell you that much. 35 years old. Definition of a Steeler.
Yeah,
Cameron Hayward.
he's my number 4.
Oh, what the hell? Are we just flip-flopping players or what?
Yeah, so full transparency, we did not at all.
At
And
least we
so,
think alike on some of these picks.
yeah, so,
I mean, 29 solos, 3 assists, 7 sacks this year.
oh yeah,
PFF grade of a 90.5. I mean, a 90.5.
ageless. Him
I
and Calais Campbell.
mean, he's 35 years old.
Yeah, ageless. He is only in PFF grade is the number 1 defensive tackle in the league right now. As a pass rusher, he is second to only Chris, the number 1 run defending defensive tackle in the league. Is just stupid,
Yeah.
stupid good. Like I Cam Hayward this year. It's just it's incredible to watch. Just he gets his new contract and he immediately is like, okay, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. And you just
Yeah, the decline's always happening.
and so he has a run defense percentage of 13.8 with 22 total stops. He only has 3.2% missed tackle rate, which is pretty good, especially because he plays nose tackle at 295 pounds. Like, he does not play 3 tech for him. He plays that shade nose. That 1 tech, 0 tech. That's where sacks, 29 total tackles. Buckeye
He's
great,
fun.
man.
Yeah.
Buckeye great. All right.
You already hit my number 4. I think he was your 7. Kobe Turner. What more can you say about him?
Rookie.
Really?
I already argued that he should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I mean, they always rob
The
people at that.
award. So,
I mean,
yeah,
should we
so
just jump down to my number? I mean, I think we should jump to. We did your 4. I mean, unless there's anything else you want to say about Kobe Turner. That, I mean, you covered the spread.
yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
your opinions
robbed.
are well known about a lot of these Rams defensive players.
Oh yeah,
I
Defensive
think,
Player of
I
the
think,
Year, not
I think,
rookie. Defensive Player. Um,
I
all
think, I
right.
think it's saying something.
Yeah, I love him. You're my number 3.
I think we should switch it up and jump to your 3.
Yeah, you already mentioned him.
Ooh, at 3?
Yes.
I
So
did
this
not.
one.
Can I be honest before you start?
Okay. Go
I
ahead.
didn't think you had him on your list.
No, stupid. I definitely had him on my list. Okay. He Chris Jones, but a young version.
A little bit more angry.
Like okay, if he is given the runway and the time that Chris Jones has had, I think he's going to be better over his whole career. I mean, he should have been the number 1 pick in his draft class last year. He was that good. His impact is felt week on week. You know, there's 4 weeks this year that he has been bad, like actively good to great, and even some weeks elite. And I think he's just getting up there. I mean, he posted an 87.4 rookie defensive grade, an 84.6 pass rushing grade, and his pass rushing grade's better. He has 4 sacks on the year, and I think he's just getting started. I mean, he's so young. I think he's going to be.
I agree. I like it. I don't know if you're gonna like my 3. I don't think you even have him on your list now. I kind of feel kind of silly with this one. But again, I'm clarifying. This is my 2024 list. Justin Matabuke. We're at 3. You don't sound very
AMD.
excited. I'm gonna need some excitement in your voice.
Yeah. So yeah. So,
So
but I just as a single player. I think it's getting him those statistics.
I can see that.
And do you not know how to pronounce his African name?
How do you say it? Yeah,
Namdi
definitely.
Matabike.
Yeah, I would have messed that all up. I mean, dude has 15 solos, 7 assists, 6 sacks, and he's tied for second with what? He's tied for second in forced fumbles. He got one. His PFF grade is it's low compared to a lot of these guys that we've been mentioning on this list. So he's at a 70.2, which kind of shifted it for me. I was kind of going off of, we watch a lot of these games week in and week out. Every time I'm tuning into a Ravens game, it's always they're mentioning his name. I know you say it's a lot of this cleanup mess, which could be true, but at the end of the day, he's getting those numbers, his efforts collecting the stats, and he's doing it. He's making a
And
difference.
Bengals, part of that crucial win in week 10. And he's producing 7 total pressures that week. And yeah, I worry it's more of a team, but he's the recipient of all of the stats. And so I want to see the rest of this season. I want to see him with one more year removed.
Well, I'm looking forward to future episodes, and hopefully he makes that 2025 list.
Yeah, hopefully. You never know, man.
But we are getting into the thick of it. We're about to. We did your 3 already, right? We're
Who's in
jumping
your
in.
top 2?
I don't know. They're definitely not in your top 2. I can tell you that one. Because you already mentioned one. You have Chris Jones at 2.
Yeah.
I mean, the way you bashed him, I didn't think you had him. I'm just kidding. I knew you had him already.
Yeah. Chris Jones, like I said, he's a future Hall of Famer. Like no one can really detract from Chris Jones in his career. I mean, he is on that Hall of Fame trajectory. He's currently at 87 total sacks on his career the past 4 years. So not including this year, the past 3 years. 10 sacks in 2021, 17 2022, and 15 last year. And he was a big part of that Super Bowl push, the back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah,
He is the chess piece that Spagnuolo uses.
definitely is.
Definitely would say pillars of that team.
I mean, they
Definitely
also did a lot of work with D
undersung.
Ford and a lot of other people, but
Yeah,
people don't talk about them.
the Chiefs. That is.
He barely
Who's your
got
number
the
two?
spotlight for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's not. No number one. I feel like that's the story of Chris Jones's career. Like he has always been an elite player, but he's never been the best. I mean, he was following Aaron Jones.
I feel like our number ones are the same, but our number twos were different.
So
You mentioned my number 2 already. I think you
who's
had
your
him
number
like at
two?
9.
Who's your number two?
Quinnen Williams, Mister I
Yeah, I
Want to
did have
Be,
Quinn.
tied for second in sack. I mean, you covered him. We know what it is with him, and like I mentioned before, I think it's not just him. I think it's the full defense that had a lot of drop off. Because
Yeah,
someone they respected, someone they wanted to run through a wall for, they kind of threw him to the street like he wasn't nothing. That can do a lot to a player.
yeah, he's definitely. They're not. They're not doing enough for him. I mean, it's him, Will McDonald, who's an active arm in the run game and rush defense. That's really it.
Yeah, injuries.
And
Didn't the
it's
Jets
just
win 8 games last year? Or was it 7? I mean, that was with Zach Zach Wilson. I mean,
Tim
God,
Boyle,
I mean, I think they had a water boy,
Mike White.
some guy out of the fucking stands, and
It's true, man.
they fire him when he gets Aaron Rodgers back. I just don't get that.
It's it's a shame.
I mean,
It's a real shame. But
can we get
I
a
think
drum roll
our
for your number 1?
Dexter Lawrence.
That's who I have at number 1.
Absolutely. Okay. And this is a real shame for Chris Jones and why Dexter Lawrence is ahead. Chris Jones has been a 3 tech his entire career, which means he's getting the one-on-one matchups pretty consistently. Dexter Lawrence is a nose tackle.
Yes.
He gets double teamed every play.
And he
He
runs
is a
through most of them.
okay. He is a 13.8 pass rush win percentage this year. Okay, he leads the league. He leads defensive tackles in sacks with 10 on the season. Like he has a 83.8 pass rush grade for PFF. Okay. He has an 89.8 overall defensive rush defense grade.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think so. Defensive Player of the Year is kind of like all the awards are kind of like media based. Obviously, they're media votes on them, but it's like storyline based. And so, like you could see Cam, 35 years old, and he's the best defensive tackle in the league right now. You see T.J. Watt doing it. You see all these things, all these people doing it. Lawrence being seriously because he's a nose tackle.
I mean, what more does he need to do?
I mean, he nose tackles don't get stats.
He's getting
It's
stats.
10 sacks on the year.
Going into week 12? Yeah.
It's insane how good he is.
So what happens if he puts up another 10?
He breaks Michael Strahan and T.J. Watt's sack record.
What was their strike? Was that 22? So let's just say he does put up another 10. Does that get him in the conversation? I mean, if he gets to 15, I think they should talk about it.
I don't know. I think it's just.
I mean, when we talk about the New York Giants, we're not talking about Daniel Jones.
We're not talking about Dexter.
I mean, you hit it on the nose. PFF grade of 89.8. 10 double-digit sacks. 9 assists. 20 solos. I mean, he's grinding. He's doing work.
Yeah, is the keystone that I would want to build my impact.
Well,
Bro can't be stopped.
if any of our listeners know Sexy Dexy, let him know that we tipped our cap off to him. And he got our votes for Defensive Player of the Year.
Tell him we'd invite him on the podcast anytime.
Oh, anytime. Let's run down the list. And we can repost these on our socials for you guys as well. So I had 2 honorable mentions. Jonathan Allen, Christian Wilkins, which I knew you hated. Top number 10, Leonard Williams. Number 9, Jeffrey Simmons. 8, Jalen Carter. 7, Chris Jones. 6, Vita Vea. 5, Cameron Hayward. 4, Kobe Turner. 3, Justin Matabuke. 2, Quinnen Williams. And number 1, Dexter Lawrence.
And here's my top 10. My 3 honorable mentions were Javon Hargrave, Jeffrey Simmons, and Christian Barmore. Number 10, DeForest Buckner. Number 9, the ageless Calais Campbell. Number 8, Keenan Williams. Number 7, the conductor, Kobe Turner. Number 6, DJ Reader. Number 5, Vita Vea. Number 4, again, another ageless man, Cam Hayward. Number 3, the Jones. And number 1, Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence. And we just want to say thank you for everyone for listening. Again, please show us some support by rating, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. Follow us on TikTok at Tailgate Sports Podcast for all of all of Ricky's shenanigans over there. And Insta at Tailgate Sports Podcast 24. We do have a Patreon.
I mean, if you guys have a top 10 and you guys want to reach out, instant message us, send it to us. We'll post it.
Definitely. The best way to get in contact with us is definitely that Instagram at Tailgate Sports 24. Message us there.
Oh yeah,
Any messages?
But as usual, I just want to put out that the Raiders aren't tanking. We're just a bad team.
Tank for Shador.
Tank for anybody but him. All right.